Talk about mining outpost design. Again? Yes, again. But this time for the end game or for mega bases or the rocket challenge or however you want to call it. So we want again a efficient and cheap build, but we also want a high production and we want it blueprintable and expandable. The first thing you will notice is that I changed the rail setup from 1 lane to 2 to have a higher throughput. Because when you're building something like this, a mega base or something, 1 lane just doesn't cut it. So you need something like this. This is also in the blueprint, the connection of the rails. It also should connect to the power automatically if you have some form of big electric poles in them like I do. Then it will connect. Embarrassing. It will connect to the station. The setup of the station is quite similar. One for my personal train, which is this. This is for the ore train. At the moment just one is running, but you can easily have 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 trains running here. The production power, as you can see, is nearly 8 full bells, which are 6,400 items, which get loaded in this chest. Also I increased the size of 2 green inserters, loading 1 wagon. And yes, we also use a power switch. This is for the beacons, since we're using extensively the production modules, which weren't needed in the other tutorial, but this you definitely need the production modules to have enough production power, but they produce so slowly, so you need to speed them up with beacons, and they cost a lot of power, so you want to switch them off when they're not producing, like when the chest is full. And yes, it's a super simple switch. If the chest is full, we don't need any more ore, so we can turn off the whole mining operation. We only need it on this chest, because even if the other chests aren't filled at the same time, they still have the power to be filled, and there's ore still lying around to give them a bit of fill, so they are all equally full, and when the train arrives it can get loaded fully. The other thing is, since we have 2 chests per wagon, we can fill 2 trains with 4 wagons before we even need to think about loading or getting more ore. The setup is still relatively similar to what I had in the other video. Still 4 wagons, but this time I use 2 engines to have more speed, because the distance are way longer. So I want to have them up to speed, but you can decide for your own. And if the train gets longer, the station is easily expandable to the north. If you use more trains, you can, as in the other video, do the same thing with the waiting bays. The signals would be here. So 1 waiting bay, 2 waiting bays, and if you want more, you can easily more. You have to connect it like this. So this is the perfect 8-to-8 balancer, since the lanes aren't equally filled, but they should be equally filled, because the wagons should be equally filled, because the locomotive has a super easy schedule. Just get here, get full, and get to the smelting area and get empty and repeat. So we have to ensure that all wagons are filled equally. So we need to balance the balance. The problem with this is the 8-to-8 splitter, as you can see, is really large. So if you want any more than that, the only thing you can do is not build the super large 16-to-16 perfect balancer. Has anyone already built that thing already? I don't know, but I think it will be really huge. You can only expand it to the other side with mirroring it, so you have to remove this lane or use underground belts. But 6,400 items is still quite a lot, so yeah. And in the other video you saw only 4 lanes. You can connect only 4 lanes to it if you use the overlapping trick of the loading mechanism. So you use one of those and put it between the wagons. Like in the other video you can load 2 with it, but the problem is in the last video we have lots and lots of mining drills, but in this we don't have so many mining drills. We only have 32 mining drills, and if we only had 2 lanes we would only have 60 mining drills, and if they start depleting then a couple of mining drills will make quite the difference. Imagine if you have 16 mining drills and 4 are depleted, then you only operate at 75%. And if you imagine maybe this line is dying, so I have only 2 mining drills still working, and here are, it's not already full, but imagine only 6, we are down to 50% or something. So the trains will arrive quite often, but they won't get filled that faster. So in all cases you want quite a high number of mining drills, because when they deplete, one mining drill won't make the difference between producing lots of ore and not much ore. Yes, this is also super easily blueprintable, which you do with these. It's just 1, 2, 3 and 4 of those. You just blueprint them down. The cool thing is, if you build them next to each other, they will use the beacons from the other, where is it? There it is. They will use the beacons from the other blueprint. So you see the blueprint uses 22 beacons times 4. This would be 88, but thanks to the building next to each other we only use 58 beacons, and so we save the very expensive modules. It is built exactly like this, that these 8 mining drills are able to fill up those 2 yellow belts. If you see them running a bit, you can see they fill up the belt quite nicely. Here at the output you should use faster belts, because if the output is blocked they won't be producing, so yes, you want fast belts there to ensure that the mining drills are always producing. If you want to increase this, you can increase the length, but then you use the red belts if you double it, or you need the blue belts if you triple it, but even doubling the length of this doesn't make any sense, and the belts aren't really expensive, so there's not really a point of doing it in this ore deposit. One of the downsides is, with this setup, the mining drills are producing way faster, so they empty a lot faster. But as you can see, when you're in the end game mining deposits are also quite bigger, so it's not that of a problem. Yeah, so as you can see, what happens when they run out. You should start always on the belt side, because when they run out you just clear it away, and then you place the same blueprint but 3 tiles to the east, and bam, you're done. Super easy to set up. The station is also blueprintable, but you have to have multiple blueprints if you want them to all directions, because you can't mirror the signals. Or you just use the same station every time and only have one blueprint. So it's up for you to decide. You can have the horizontal connection, or you can have a vertical connection, depending on where the ore deposit is located. So you blueprint the station down, then you blueprint down the mining drill sections. As you can see, here already was one section which got depleted, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the next would be here, next, 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 and then you have the zebra pattern where you have those lines where the mining drills were depleted and the lines where the beacons were standing which weren't depleted. So you change the locations of the mining drills and the beacons. So here are now beacons, there will be the mining drills, and here are the the mining drills, there will be the beacons. So you have to mine it twice, so to speak. Once, then you get the zebra pattern, and then you have to mine it again, and then it will be completely depleted and you move on to the next. Yes, you can blueprint those and you can blueprint the station, but the connection between this and that you have to do it yourself. So you can calculate the cost of one whole mining outpost quite easily. You take the costs of the station, then you need the cost of the blueprints of the mining drills times 4 because you want to build 4. Then since you can use the beacons double times, so you don't need as many beacons and as many speed modules, and then you need a lot of yellow bells. But yeah, they are still they should be super cheap since you're producing in these amounts, so you have lots of those cheap bells handy. To make it easier for you, I will put the blueprints in the description, and for the blueprint management I use the Foreman add-on, the Foreman mod, and there you can import the blueprint, there you can give it a name, and here you have to put in the text, and then you can easily import the blueprints from my video and build it on your own, or try to improve on it, or get your own ideas about it. I hope it helped, and if you have questions or improvements, let me know in the comments. Bye!